everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with my baby names video. I can't believe that I'm filming this video actually being pregnant. I remember filming this in the old house and I wasn't sure if I was going to have another one, and here I am pregnant with baby number 2, baby girl number 2, and I'm actually discussing legit names. And this will be it. Like, there won't be any more because I'm done with creating life. So I was going to do a girl video and then a boy video, but then I thought, why drag it out? And also I don't have a massive long list, so what I'm going to do is start with boys' names, work my way through them, and then do girls' names because obviously I'm pregnant with a girl. I will quickly say that I was so sure that I was having a boy this time. Not for it being my personal preference, because I generally didn't care. I didn't really have a preference. It would have been nice to have had a boy to experience having a boy and have my boy name picked. I just honestly believed that I was carrying, or I am carrying, a boy. But I'm not, I'm carrying a girl. I will also point out that all of my names that I say ever are vetoed by Neil. And I've had enough of it. This happened when I was pregnant with P. Any boy name or any girl name I said, Neil hated. Hated the name Phoebe when I said, what about Phoebe? And 4 years later, that is still her name. I know we don't really call her by that. If you're new to my channel and you don't know, I have a little girl who's 4 and she is Phoebe Olivia, but we don't ever really call her by her name. We just call her P. That's just what she was. When she was a baby in my tummy, when she was born, she was little P, and now she's just P, and it's just stuck. She still gets called Phoebe throughout life, from nursery and her friends and my friends, but it gets called P and Phoebes, and I think one of her teacher calls her Phoebo or something, I don't know. And I think as she gets older, potentially Phoe will be a name as well. So yeah, she's just my P. So I'm going to start off with names I liked but I knew I wouldn't have used. First one is Stanley. I love the name Stanley. I love the name Stan. I'm a massive fan of traditional names that can be, or that are long, that can be shortened to like my name. I've got quite a versatile name: Jessica, Jess, Jessie. That's just how I like it, whereas Neil is Neil. But Stanley I just loved. I like it. I feel like it's quite versatile. I couldn't use it because my nephew is called Stanley and it would just be weird, and I would never do that, and I wouldn't even have it as a middle name. But I just love the name Stan. Like, I feel like it works for all ages, like young little lad growing up, like mid-teens, being like Stan, and then obviously as an older man as well. I just feel like it's a really lovely name. Next boy name that I like, blow my nose and now it's all red. My next name that I really liked but won't be using just because it is so common and so, I want to say millennial, like the name Daniel. The next name I liked was Jack. I feel like it's a good all-rounder boy name. Like, it's just punchy, it's straight to the point, and it goes against everything that I say when I say that I like long names. I don't like the name Jackson. It's just not for me. It's not traditional enough for me. I just really like the name Jack. I feel like it's straight to the point and it's just a good all-rounder name. But again, I just wouldn't have used it. Next one along the J theme is Jasper. I really liked the name Jasper. I've liked it for a really long time. It's grown up with me from when I was really small. I don't know if any of you remember the programme that was on CITV called Dig It. Was it called Dig It? And Fern Cotton was the presenter, I want to say. Is that right? And they had a little King Charles Cavalier dog, and it was called Jasper, and it's just stayed with me. I really like the name. I think it's really nice. It can be shortened to Jasp, which I think, I don't know if it works or not, but Jasper was one of my names that Neil hated. And the next one, which I actually really liked and it went really well with Phoebe, was Felix for a boy. I don't think I would have ever been brave enough to use it, just because, I'm not saying it's like an out there name by all means, because it's not, it's still quite traditional. It's just the association that people have with Felix the cat brand, like the food. I just feel like it's sort of ruined that name, in my opinion. I think Phoebe and Felix go really well together. I like the way it sounded together, and I just, that was one of my top. That was one that I really liked and was quite keen to use, but again, Neil said no. Another name that I really liked was Edward. I thought it was a lovely name, and I wouldn't have shortened it to Ted. I know a lot of people, like, Ted is a very common name right now, whether it be Theodore or Edward. That's not the reason why I liked it. I liked how it could be shortened to Ed or Eddie. Again, I feel like it's quite a versatile name. It's very sort of like my era, like people, like I said, like Daniel, and I can't even think of names, like boys' names that were around when I was at school, but I feel like Edward is sort of like within that frame. I've used it is because I want to sort of stay away from E names, just because Ellie has the E names. That's her little thing, and I don't want to be stepping on any toes. I don't think she'd care anyway, but I'm just leaving the E names aside for her. Now onto my top 3 of boy names. It would have been the middle name, and it would have been Oliver. I have always had a thing for Oliver. P's middle name is Olivia, so I really liked how they would have had a middle name that's sort of similar. So obviously it's the girl version of Oliver. I like the name anyway. It's too common for a first name for me, like Olivia. I love the name, I think it's beautiful, but again, it's too common for a first name. But I thought for a middle name, it just worked perfectly. I was actually going to be an Oliver. If I were to be a boy, I would be Oliver James, and I think it's a really lovely name, and I think James is a nice name in itself anyway. But Oliver would have been, if this baby was a boy, it would have been the middle name, and I am slightly sad that I'm not going to use it. I just think it's a good, strong name, and that's one thing I like, is like a strong traditional name. So my top 2 names, I'm going to go with the one that Neil vetoed first, and that is Spencer. I love the name Spencer. I feel like it's quite rare and you don't really hear of it. It's quite old school. I do like quite posh and pretentious names, I'm not going to lie. I don't know why, because I don't think Phoebe is that at all. I just love the name Spencer. I like how it can be abbreviated to Spence, Spenny. I just think it's like a good name, and I loved it. But the only reason why we couldn't use it, Neil did like it, but he works with someone called Spencer, and they have recently sort of got quite close friends, and it would just have been a bit weird to have a friend that he works with called Spencer and then a son called Spencer. So that was the one that I was really gunning for. But my second alternative, which I had for a boy, was Hugo, and Hugo was going to be my boy name, and I don't like the fact of saying it out loud because I know I'm never going to use it, and I don't think I'd have a cat called Hugo, so that's that one done. So the baby would have been Hugo Oliver, and I loved it, and it goes against everything that I say when I like names. I love long names that can be abbreviated, but Hugo's just, I just love it. It is what it is. I feel like it works with all ages. It's punchy, it's a strong male name, and I thought it was beautiful. And the fact I don't get to use baby Hugo as a name, I'm not happy about, but that is what it is. So they are my boy names. Girl names, I don't have as long as a list, just because I picked my favourite girl names when I had P, and the fact I've now got to find more names is hard. Like I said, I'm quite fussy. I don't like floral names. I don't really like all of these names that are coming up at the moment. I'm not going to say any because I know I'll cause offence, because names are very particular. Some people, for example, love the name Rose. I hate the name Rose. I just don't like it. It's so common. It's normally either double-barreled first name or a middle name. I just don't like it. And I could go on about names that I don't like for a very long time, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to offend people. So my list is very short, and I don't know what this baby is going to be called. So my top name that I had when I was pregnant with P, and Neil, he just hates it. Like, he hates it. And I could tell, like, when I told him about P, like Phoebe, it was one that he could sway on, which obviously he did. Again, Phoebe for us had the stigma of Phoebe from Friends. And now I think that's completely gone. But this name, I can just tell that he just doesn't vibe off it, and that is Martha. Martha is my name. I love the name. It's my favourite. I would have used it on P. I think it's such a beautiful name. Again, it goes against everything that I say where it can be abbreviated. Martha is Martha. That is what it is. It's a strong name, and I think it's beautiful. And I'm really annoyed that I don't get to use it. Like, devastated. I remember when I filmed my previous video, I cut it out of the video. I said it like within the video, and I was like, you know what, I can't use it in this video just in case I do use it. And here I am sat with baby number 2, that's a girl. I don't even think he'd take it as a middle name. Like, there is nothing I can do. I've been talking about this name for such a long time, and Neil does not like it at all. So my top girl name currently is Martha, and it's a no-go. Along the same sort of lines, I don't know what it is, I don't really want this baby's name to match. I know some people like going down like the same letter. I cannot do that, because I can't have a Phoebe and then say a Polly and call PP and then have a Polly. I just can't do it. So double, like 2 letters the same, is a no-go for me. And I also don't really want like the same sounding name. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, do you want a name that's like an E sound? No, like, I don't care. I would rather this person have their own like individuality. I don't know if I know what I mean. So my next name that I like that was similar to Martha is Tabitha. I know this one is quite out there. It's still traditional, but it's a little bit more abnormal. Again, Neil says it sounds like a cat's name because of Tabby. I like the fact it can be shortened from Tabitha down to Tabs, T, or Tabby. What can I do? If my husband and the father does not like the name, I'm stumped. It's so annoying. So Tabitha was one of my names that is on the list. So currently his baby's nameless. The next one is Tallulah. I really like this name. I don't think I'd ever be brave enough to use it just because it's a little bit more out there for me. I like how it can be shortened to Lula. Yeah, I just liked the name. 2 more. Next one is Libby. I think Libby is a really nice name. I don't think I would ever go for Elizabeth just because it's too long for me. But I think Libby is a really pretty name. I know you could potentially have a longer name of Liberty, but I don't really like it. I feel like if people are lazy with their pronunciation, the T could get lost. So I wouldn't have had Liberty as a name, but I do really like the name Libby and then shorten it to Libs. I think it's a really pretty name and it just works. I really liked it, but again, Neil doesn't like it. And then my final one I really like, that I actually heard at Peace Nursery, but again, for me and my association, I see it more of a cat name, and that is Maggie. I think it's a really pretty name, really cute, really cute. See, I can see like a little girl being called Maggie. I can see it as a teenager. I can't see it someone my age being called Maggie, but I can see it like in their 60s. This is the problem that I have. I have to see the name progress throughout someone's life, and I just don't see that progressing, if that makes sense. So I think if I had a girl cat, I'd definitely call it Maggie, like Mags. I think it's a cute name, but not for this baby. So that is where I'm at all of my names. I am stumped as to what this baby will be called. I have a couple of names. Again, it's just trying to figure out what works. I am the type of person that likes to name the child before it's born. I don't know why. I just am. I mean, a baby looks, for me, a baby looks like a baby. And like, it wasn't like P came out and I was like, oh, you look like a Sophie. Like, I just don't have that association with like names and babies and stuff. But each to their own. So if you have any suggestions of girls' names, leave them down below. Try not to repeat names down in the comments, because that'll get quite long. Additional strong names that can be abbreviated. That's my brief. Maybe 2 syllables, because obviously it's Phoebe. So I might go along the syllable route. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. I'm gonna go. I really hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment below. Let me know your little ones' names, little girls' names ideally, and suggestions. If you've got names that you liked but you weren't ever brave enough to use, leave them down below. I know SJ Strum, is that her name? Yeah, she has a YouTube channel with like all baby names, but I've watched loads of those previously and none of them float my boat. So this baby's just gonna be nameless, I think. So hard. Right, I'm gonna go. I hope you all enjoyed and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.